course. Something that Thomas Ricks said during the interview that I did with him before the speech, Senator, was this question of whether or not the president would be somewhat restrained in terms of his certitude or his modesty. And I just had a couple of examples I wanted to throw out and then ask you if you think he was restrained or had a little too much certitude. They, referring to Crocker and Petraeus, concluded that conditions in Iraq are improving and that we are seizing the initiative from the enemy and that the troop surge is working. And the second point that seemed to address this, the entire discussion of Anbar, as I mentioned to Rachel, did he go too far in terms of stating facts that may not hold up?
Absolutely, positively. Before my committee, both Petraeus and Ambassador Crocker acknowledged that there was no real political movement on what the problem is. 95% of the problem is a civil war, Sunnis killing Shia. I sat there next to that sheikh who got blown up today. I sat with him for 3 hours. The idea that they were telling us that Anbar province is all squared away and Fallujah and Ramadi and all these places are in good shape is bizarre, secondly. And so, look, by the president's own standards, this whole policy has been a failure. And all he's doing, Keith, is trying to keep as I think was Chris that said earlier, keep a cork in the troops are the cork in the bottle, keeping this thing from imploding until the next president. It's shameful. It was a shame. I think it was shameful the way they're trying to sell this. And the government in Iraq wanting to overthrow the government. Tell me what the government in Iraq is. Who is the government in Iraq? Does anybody in Kurdistan listen to anybody in Baghdad? Does the militia sitting out there among the Shia in the 9 southern provinces, do they listen to anybody in Baghdad? And does anybody in the Sunnis area listen to Baghdad? It's bizarre.
Senator, who are the 36 nations fighting at our side in Iraq?
Well, I tell you what, Chris, that was a beauty to me. There may be a secretary somewhere out there. I mean, look, this is absolutely an insult to the intelligence of the American people. An insult.
Well, let me ask you about something more.
We've had 27,000 wounded.
Okay, let me go to the further question here, which is a concern to me as a citizen. The president seems to be talking about the formation of a new Baghdad pact here, some enduring strategic relationship with this elusive government he doesn't want to talk much about in Baghdad. As the chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee, does the Congress get to decide who we sign these pacts with? Is there going to be a treaty with the government of Iraq, such as it is, for a long-standing mutual assurance pact? What's he talking about here?
I don't know what in God's name he's talking about. There's nobody to sign a treaty with. There's no government in effect. You got Maliki, who's sitting there in Baghdad, who has virtually no support. He can't even get the support of the Shia militia. There's 4 major Shia militia, maybe 5. And look, you know, I sat with the Sunni vice president and the Shia vice president. They're part of the 5-person part of the government, and the deputy prime minister. None of them agree with what the president said tonight.
Well, the strange world we had described to us tonight, I want to know from you how strange it is. We're described by the president, we're given a picture in 20 minutes of a country over there, an ally. You know, like Chiang Kai-shek used to be against the Japanese, or Hungary against the Soviets, an ally, a country we care about, and it's fighting for its life against our enemy, which is al-Qaeda. No real references, except once, to the fact there's a civil war going on in that country. The notion that we're one of 37 countries fighting over there against the bad guys. There's so much of this that's truly, and I don't mean this in a cartoon sense, fantastic. When you're with the president, does he live in this world, or does he just sell it?
I don't know, Chris. Last time I was with the president, I made the following point. I said, Mr. President, if the Lord Almighty came down, sat on this conference table, it was my 7th trip back from Iraq, I was debriefing him, or being debriefed. I said, if he sat in this conference table and said, Mr. President, every jihadi, every al-Qaeda member in the world is dead. Mr. President, you still have a massive civil war in your hand engaging over 100,000 American forces, and they're dying at a pretty clipped rate. This is a little bit like General Petraeus saying to us, the violence is down dramatically. It's down from 1,600 attacks a week to 1,000 a week. What are they talking about, Chris?
Well, one thing they don't let us do is see the bodies coming to Dover, Delaware, but they give us this information about an elusive 36 allies over there, but we don't get the bad news, which is death. Anyway, thank you very much, Senator Joe Biden out in Council Bluffs, Iowa. Let's go right now for reaction to